And we are back. We are live with another edition of Battle of the Americas. This is number 72. My god, it's been so long. Almost 2 entire years. Damn. I'm of course ZvP, your host and caster. And with me, I am joined by my lovely Ling, Probe, and Duck. Quack. Oh god, so welcome everyone, welcome. It's a lovely morning here for some beautiful StarCraft, and yo, exclamation mark B in the chat. Have a look at the bracket. The bracket is live and the bracket is insane, mate. It happens every couple of months. Every couple of months someone decides to wake up, and you know who that is? This week it is Special Especial El Mexicano Juanito. He is here, the best player in all of Latin America, uncontested for many years. Of course, there have been periods where like Cham has beaten him or Kelazur has beaten him, but again, when it comes to consistency, none is like Juanito. So Special is there in the bracket. Because he doesn't play in OSC events too frequently, he does not have the highest seed. The highest seed is still under Cham, so because of that, we will not. It's impossible to see a Cham versus Special finals. If we see it, if we see them face, it's gonna be in the semis, which is brutal. It's brutal, mate. Oh god. So yeah, Special is here. Not just Special, we have a couple of other big names. I already mentioned it. Cham is here, BioIce as well, Paco Mike, Jimbo Rising. He's not playing League of Legends today. And those are pretty much the biggest names here. Again, unfortunately, when it comes to NA, I saw Trigger signed up, but Trigger didn't check in. I am well aware that a lot of the NA players are currently playing and tied up in Dave Testa. Dave Testa is hosting his own tournament at the moment. I think at the same time. It's like, mate. So that's going on. Oh god. So because of that, a lot of the North American players are competing in that. Players like, if I recall, I know Skylar's playing in it. Maybe Starkiller, maybe. I'm pretty sure Patty Mac is playing in that. Gotta get Gustavo in here. But yeah, a lot of the NA players are playing in Dave Testa's tournament instead, which it's, to be fair, you know, Dave Testa's tournament is open to North American players and it doesn't include Special, so yeah, it makes sense. It makes sense. We want to avoid that. Oh god. So yeah, we'll see how today's tournament goes. As you can see on the screen right now, we are going to be diving into a bit of a low-key match, a match that I'm still looking forward to. I never get to cast enough of Loki. Of course, Loki is a Chilean player. Avenger, his teammate, is a Mexicano player, Mexican. So a bit of a spicy matchup between two teammates is going to be starting now as we are diving into our first game, our first series of the night. Also, I want to bring everyone's attention, exclamation mark Funada Yakuzaku, because he raided us as we were going live and Yaku woke up. Oh, actually, sorry. I assumed that he woke up at 5 AM to stream. He may have pulled an all-nighter and just not slept at all. And if that is the case, god damn it, Yaku. Shaking my head, mate. Shaking my head. Ay. Meanwhile, oh, Tavo, oh yeah, hey. Hold on. Funada Tavo in the chat. Oh my god. I see, man, I see you sneaking in there. Tavo, the Peruvian Terran player, is there in the chat. Mate, I don't see you on the bracket. What's going on? Oh my god, we missed Tavo yesterday in Copa Hyperion, and now he's not here in Battle of the Americas either. Shaking my head, shaking my head. We're all big Tavo fans here. But speaking of being fans, spawning in the bottom right hand corner of Pride of Aldares LE, not Aldares. I keep saying Aldares. We have the Mexican Protoss player representing Unidos por el Vicio. It is Avenger. Thank you so much, Nodokasa, for the resub. 4 months, sorry, 6 months. Oh my god. Thank you so much for the support. Quack. And spawning in the top left-hand corner of Pride of Altades LE, we have the Chilean Zerg player, also representing Unidos por el Vicio. It is Loki. Oh. I'm very curious to see how this series will go. These are two semi-pro players. They are both Masters 1, not GM. I think Loki may have been GM in the past. I'm not too certain, but at the moment I believe he is Masters 1. So yeah, not the highest of profile matches, but still very close, and I really am curious to see how they play it out. Especially Loki. Like, I've had my eye on Loki for I think a year now, slowly watching him progress, get stronger as a player, get more invested in the game. It's cool that he's on Unidos. Because of this, he also plays for them for the team league, or for their team league. So yeah, we'll see what he has to offer here. I think the last time we casted him, other than BTL, we did cast him during BTL, was the Rebirth tournament, the Chilean only Rebirth tournament. So it's been quite some time. Already we do see the unnatural natural being taken here for Loki. Very interesting vetoes. I should also bring this up. This is I woke up at 11 p.m. Oh no, Yaku, please. Shaking my head. Oh god, he's gonna be ruined for ESL Asia later on today. God damn it, Yaku. But what was I saying? All right, yeah, this is the first Battle of the Americas with the new map pool. We've already casted a number of tournaments with this. Like, we casted GPO, we casted Copa Hyperion yesterday as well. So this is not first rodeo. But you know, these are some pretty interesting maps. They're probably one of the biggest interesting things about these new maps are the critters now. Like, there are critters all over the place in a lot of the bases. Some of them aren't targetable, some of them targetable, and they do come into play depending on certain play styles. We're not going to see it here. It's a pretty standard opener, but eventually we'll get into it. Depending on who we end up casting. Meanwhile, we do have a Stargate opener coming out from Avenger. This is actually my first time casting Avenger. I've never had the luxury of having him on the CranKy Ducklings. So yeah, we'll see what he has to offer here. We'll see if he's going to just go Void Rays like every other Protoss. Is he willing to do so on the new maps? We'll see, as the first adept does come across the map, forcing some lost mining time, but the Lings and Queen should be enough. That's actually a lot of Lings. I don't know. I mean, we have 2 more in production as well. Ling speed is about to kick in. With Ling speed, of course, these adepts should be shut down, as Ling speed is going to finish up in 10 more seconds. Up. Oh, we do not see us around. Ay. And he doesn't commit to the shade as well. So the Lings are going to try and hunt down these adepts. 4 more Lings are in production as well. Again, just to hunt this down and just to contain his opponent to 2 bases. Meanwhile, what's shocking to me... Okay, there we go. I was like, yo, where are the units? First Void Ray comes out. It is only going to be 1 Void Ray to begin with, and we have an Oracle follow-up instead. So we're not seeing a massive commitment into Skytoss at the moment. With this Oracle, he can go across the map, deal some damage, and hopefully we should see some spores thrown down for Loki. He just saw the Void Ray. The Void Ray just came out, killed the first Overlord. He knows it's a Stargate. He knows that he needs spores. He's going to be so greedy if he skips them, and he's going to be punished for it. As the first Oracle is moving out across the map, these Spotterlings are being cleaned up. I mean, shout out to Loki for actually using Spotterlings. Oh, and they actually do spot the Oracle as it moves out. But there's still no spores. There are queens, but are they going to be where they need to be? There's only 1 here at the 3rd base. The Oracle, oh god, no. Oracle does get pushed away. Oh my god. Oracle taking a little bit more damage than needs to be. Meanwhile, these Lings actually slipped into the main base, got a full scout off, confirmed that a second Void Ray was coming out, and that there's no follow-up tech. There's no Twilight Council, there's no second Stargate. I'm really confused as well. Avenger is banking up quite a bit. I'm really curious to see what his resources is going to be spent on. Like, sure, he has some Adepts and Void Rays in the middle of the map, and he actually is moving out with them. But there we go. There is that Robo, and there is that second Stargate. Will he even lead it? Loki, despite scouting the push coming through the center of the map, he is not prepared. He's forced to pull the boys. Ay. The Adepts are going to commit to the Shade. I believe all these Queens are going to go down as well. The Roaches were not prepared. Even though we have a Roach Warren, we don't even have Roaches in production. We just have nothing but Lings. Oh boy. Avenger dealing a lot of damage here. We finally have a couple of spores being repositioned. We do see a recall. Ugh, a little bit needless, I feel. Like, honestly, this base could have died if Avenger had backed off, but maybe he felt like he was overstaying his welcome. As he felt like he dealt enough damage, backs off, goes back home, and just keeps on probing up. And to be fair, I don't blame him, right? Like, he did well, incredibly well with that attack. I mean, look at the units lost. He only lost a single Oracle this game, and that was kind of due to miscontrol. Oh my god. And what I should say is that Loki, he did prematurely evacuate this third base, and because of that, he didn't lose too many workers. He hasn't lost a single drone actually this game, which is pretty impressive. But again, the problem is that he doesn't really have much else going for him. There we go. We finally have a fourth base on the way. We have more workers. But we have Skytoss coming out. We have a fleet beacon. Like, where is the anti-air? We need a Spire or a Hydra Den. But instead we have Lingbane Roach Ravager, which isn't a bad composition. Not at all, especially against Ground Toss. But we don't have Ground Toss. We have Void Rays. That's the odd thing about this. Looking at Loki's vision, he hasn't really been able to scout what the follow-up is. He doesn't know the mass amount of Void Rays that are going to be coming out, the potential carriers as well. Finally, he gets an eye on these Void Rays, and that should be a tell. He's making nothing but Queens. Interesting. I mean, defensively, this may be enough. Yeah, it should be fine. Beautiful. It's guacamole. Guacamole. Oh, God. Ay. But yeah, with these Queens, like, it is enough to hold the line, but when the Disruptors come in, like, the Disruptors don't have to kill Queens. The Disruptors just have to deal enough damage for the Void Rays to finish them off, or for the Queens to just waste their transfuses. This is what I'm concerned about. I really like what Avenger's army composition is really shaping up to be. When it comes to Loki, it feels like he's lacking a little bit here. He has a Hive on the way. With this Hive, he can of course go into Vipers, he can go into Infestors. Well, I mean, you don't need a Hive for Infestors. So, I'm worried that there's no Pathogen Glands, so I guess he's going to be using this just for Vipers, which will help, to be fair. But like, I'm not convinced by this Masked Queen in the mid game. We'll see. As we have a third Stargate on the way, we have Flux Veins for the Void Rays, Disruptors continuing to be bumped out here. And of course, you know, I'm praising Avenger for this composition, but it still comes down to control. You know, how good are those Purification Novas really going to be? Because if they whiff, then Loki can definitely close the distance and really take this out. What's concerning, though, is just that Loki has been taking his sweet time to expand. We have 4 base versus 4 base at the moment, which is something you never want to see. Especially as a Zerg player. You ideally always want to be up 1 base, sometimes even 2 bases. We have a bit of a bailing run by, but the reaction of Avenger was good enough. Only 2 probes went down. The creep spread is okay. It's almost halfway across the map. But we do see Ultras. Oh, we do have Vipers, which are great. We'll see. We'll see if Loki can prove me wrong. We'll see if he can deal with the Void Rays. Yeah. We'll see. Avenger close to maxing out. I feel like he could probably pull the trigger, but he's a Protoss player, so he's probably feeling like, you know what, I need to hit 200 supply before I move out across the map, which is understandable. As carriers are on the way, and this is where the problem lies. You know, Masked Queen with Vipers, I'm like, okay, sure, maybe you can deal with all the Void Rays, I guess. With the Void Ray Disruptor, I should emphasize. But with carriers, I don't know, man. Like, get a Spire, you know? Like, finally the Overseer slips in, he sees the additional Stargates, he sees the Fleet Beacon, get a goddamn Spire! Oh god. Instead, we got 3-3. We got kindness plating, we got ultras. I mean, with ultras, sure, he can take down all the disruptors. What I will say is Avenger is moving out without his carriers, so yeah, maybe Loki can take a fight and then snowball from there. As here we go, finally Avenger is across the map. He wants to push into this 5th base. How good is the engagement going to be? How good are going to be the Novas? Oh, Parasitic Bomb connects with every single Void Ray. We don't see any splits. Where are the Novas? The Novas! The Disruptors, please! Shoot out! Oh my god! They finally get their shots off, but they connect with Lings, not with the Queens, and the Void Rays all get forced back. I probably went as well as it could have for Loki. You know, all the Void Rays sat in Parasitic Bombs, the Purification Novas were delayed and tried to go off on Lings of all things, and yeah, just like that, Loki, he's in a decent spot. There we go, double Spire on the way. Loki knows what he needs, and he needs Corruptors, and he's gonna get there. He needs a little bit of time to really get going, to work on his flyer upgrades, but until then, he has the map control. I didn't realize what I was getting myself into when I dove into this series. Oh god, we have a full wall off here at the 5th base. At the 4th, we have so much stack defense. The Baneling's gonna try and bust on forward. Can they get into the mirror line? Oh, they can! And 10 probes go down at the same time. The Ultras and the Queens are pushing in towards the 5th base. It's gonna take a while for them to get through these rocks, so Avenger can respond, but oh my god, his army is so slow. Cannons putting in as much work as they can, buying some time. The Ultras can't quite push through. Yo, this is too many Ultras. We have 2 more Ultras on the way. Loki, he's maxed out. He can't make any Corruptors. Oh my god, another Parasitic Bomb though. Where are the splits, puppy? Split. Jesus. It hurts. It hurts so much. Void Ray gets picked up. Same time, more Lingbane run-bys towards the 4th base. To be fair, there aren't too many workers here, so there's not too much under threat from this run-by, but, you know, damage is damage. Honestly, like, there's no reason for Avenger not to push forward with his carriers. Like, just trade Interceptors for Army. There we go. Oh, look, he's 2 minutes in the future. Listening to the stream, he picks up a Viper, and yeah, he can just keep going. Like, there's nothing stopping him. Unfortunately, he's a little bit distracted. He does send a carrier over towards the south to deal with the Ling run-by. But again, the Skytoss army is pushing through. That's a Spore Forest if I've ever seen one. It's not ready yet. And it's also not in position to protect the 5th base. But Avenger backs off. All army? Maybe? As we do have a bit of a pain run-by. The run-by gets dealt with. And now Avenger needs to recalibrate a little bit here. There we go. It seems like it was maybe a bit of an all-army hockey. Does regroup, but I feel like his push could have dealt so much more damage. Because he didn't, now the spores are done. Now Loki's ready. For the most part. Oh god, and because of that creep spread, because of the lack of clearing up all this creep, the spores are moving on forward, and it is so difficult for a carrier army to push into this. Not all the spores are rooted though, so the carriers are coming in, they're trying to do what damage they can, but with the additional Corruptors, the Queens, the spores, Loki has the anti-air that he needs. Oh my god. To be fair, a lot of this can still come down to the spellcasters, right? The Storm, the Disruptors, the Purification Novas. It's just a lot to control, and I don't know if Avenger has it in him. We'll see. The Novas are going out. They do connect with a lot of the Queens. Storms as well. Not necessarily hitting what they need to, but they do force the entire army back, and now all the spores can be cleaned up. Not just the spores, but now the creep. The Queens are so exposed. Go for it. Go for the Queens. Forces the recall because of the run-by. Oh my god. Now this is an expensive run-by. But it saved the Queens. These Queens were so dead. My god. they were so dead, but the recall just saved them. Or it did it. I mean, it did save the Queens, but Avenger, now we can rotate around, hit another base. We have another run-by. This time recall is on cooldown. Oh, and it's forcing all the carriers to come back home. which is kind of what Loki wants. Like, maybe he can try and pick off a couple of carriers with his corruptors, maybe. Loki lacking some upgrades though. He still only has 1/1 for his corruptors, despite his, I was gonna say despite his bank, he's actually running out of resources. Loki has the gas, but not the minerals. He needs another base up and running. Oh god, these ultras are so expensive. Like, I do think that Loki ever made ultras. He had like 10 at a time. Sorry, he's lost 7. Oh god. He did lose the base, but it wasn't the most important one. This is though, this top right hand base. Loki needs to hold on to it. Avenger is actually unaware of it. He has very limited vision at the moment. He needs to have a bigger presence here. For so long he's been forced to defend left and right, and he's going to be forced again, but he needs to make something happen with his army. He needs to push forward and take out some bases. Same time, another Ling run by. This base will be forced to be cancelled, or it'll be killed actually. But Loki can't deal with this carrier army. We have some microbial shrouds. Oh my god, the infestors! Oh god, the Novas! Don't quite connect with the infestors. I do believe we have a neural parasite. That we do. But it may just be too much here. As base after base are falling. That run by from earlier, it stopped. It's not going for other bases. We do have a parasitic bomb on the carriers, but carriers have plenty of HP. They can sit in a power bomb. Only gets rid of their shields. Ugh, and Avenger is trying to chase down the corruptors. Meanwhile, there we go. He pulls the trigger with the run by, but it's not going to be enough. We have DTs to defend, and there is no detection. The DTs will be perfectly fine. GG gets called, and Avenger takes game 1. Oof. GG. Oh boy. Wow, what a game. I didn't know what I was getting into, mate. But GG, well played, Avenger. Loki, it took him a long time to really get the army composition that he needed. It took him a very long time to get the corruptors, and they weren't upgraded. Like, upgrades matter so much, especially against carriers. Like, those carapace upgrades, those armor upgrades for corruptors, because there are so many shots go off on interceptors, like, they add up. Like, those upgrades do matter against Skytoss. But unfortunately, he was stuck with 1/1. He had made too many ultras as well, which is where a lot of his bank went. Yeah, and unfortunately, the infestors came out, but a little bit too late. They didn't really add anything to the engagements. We saw like 1 microbial shroud. We didn't see any fungals. We didn't see any neuroparasites. Came a little bit after their time, after they were needed. Regardless, GG. Congratulations, Avenger. He does take game number 1, but that was still relatively close. You know, I can see a world there where Loki could have taken that series. Or taken that game, I should say. Maybe we can see an ace match later on. Regardless, we are going to be diving into game numero 2. We'll see where that takes us. So welcome Calibre GG to the chat. Welcome. Unfortunately, we don't have any Juggernaut players in the tournament today. Mike and Goga Joey, they were in GPO during the week. They are not Latin American. They cannot be here. Speaking of Latin American, the winner of this series will move on to face Paco Mike. Yo, where's Fidnantok when you need him? Fidnantok, of course, he's the biggest Paco Mike fan out there. And I guess since we're waiting for the lobby to be made, if you're interested in this tournament and if you want to support it, !Matcherino in the chat to bring up the Matcherino page, and you can click the claim coupon button to add 50 cents for free to the prize pool. Again, I believe we have plenty of codes left. I think 16 codes. 16 codes. They do have to be used up by not by the end of the tournament, but by the time payouts are done. So yeah, 16 codes still remaining. Oh. As we are getting ready for game numero 2. Just setting things up. Oh, and we have another new map. Also, as Calibre is saying in the chat, or Calibre, depending on your accent, is unfortunately we didn't get to see the gold base. No one took the gold. Feels bad, man. Feels bad. Gustavo es el Portuguese caster. Okay, beautiful, beautiful. Now we're diving in. But yeah, we didn't get to see the gold base. Feels bad, man. We did get to see the golds yesterday in goodbye period. If you're interested, check out the VODs because Eric did use the gold base beautifully against Paco Mike in the semifinals. Was it the finals? Semis. It was in the semis. So yeah, there is a cheeky gold base that you can take there. But did Avenger have the opportunity to take it? Probably. Would he have held on to it? That's the better question. As we are spawning in to Hardwire LE, and in the bottom left-hand corner of Hardwire, we have our Mexican Protoss player. He is blue, representing Unidos por el Vicio. Currently up in this series, it is Avenger. And spawning in the top right-hand corner of Hardwire, we have the Chilean Zerg player, also representing Unidos por el Vicio. Currently down in this series, it is Loki. Oh god, oh god. Up, up, no! Loki, please. Shaking my head, Loki. So, ideally, when you go for a hatch first expand like this, you want to send your drone down earlier and actually, like, send it towards a third location. And if a probe is coming, then you just go to the third. If a probe isn't coming, then you backtrack over, you nicely line it up with 300 minerals, and you take your natural. So, Loki being delayed a little bit there by the probe feels bad, man. Will this mean we see a Twilight Council opener? Maybe. Probably not. It's possible. It's possible. As this is one of those maps with the cleaning bots, the Roombas. These, of course, are targetable and they are killable as well. If you click on them hard enough. I think it's like if you click on them 15 times as a player, you can kill them. You just have to have the spare APM for that. And yeah, we'll see how this series or this game will go. There's a lot of interesting things about it. There's a pretty straightforward pathway to your opponents. We have a lot of chokes, we got a lot of rocks. It has some like aesthetic similarities with Beckett just because it's red. But that's pretty much where the similarities end. They come and they go. So we'll see. We shall see. I believe this is also the map with the tank spot. This is an area. This is a Reaper Cliff where you can fit 2 tanks, and the closest tank to the base is actually in range to hit the hatchery. It's absolutely disgusting. It is in range. So yeah. The tank spot can be brutal, but of course there is no Terran player here, so we don't have to worry about that. I believe there's also a Liberator spot. Is it here? No. Is it towards the south? I think there's a Liberator spot somewhere here where you can hit the mineral line. And it can be attacked by Queens, but the Queens have to be in range of the Liberation Zone. Which is a little bit Monka-esque. Hashtag Terran map pool. We've got to spread the propaganda. Meanwhile, oh my god, nice surround there by Loki. Immediately takes out the first adept. Oh my god. Something you don't see too often, and just like that, Avenger is forced to go back home with his adept. The second adept, I should say. Wow, and I was joking about a Twilight Council, so we did have a Stargate follow-up, but as we can see, it is only for a single Void Ray to deny scouting to kill Overlords. There is no Overlord here to be killed, though. Feels about the Overlord is trying to supply. Trying to get a scout off. What's important, though, is that there is a follow-up, a Twilight Council follow-up, instead of that double Stargate. Oh boy. And we're going to be seeing a Robo thrown down as well. Gas is continuing to be mined. Is this going to be Glaives? Glaives? Watch him throw down a Dark Shrine. Oh, Charge. Okay. Interesting. So we do have Charge on the way. We're going to be seeing a Gateway Explosion here. I imagine third base is still on the way. And we'll see if Loki... Or sorry, we'll see if Avenger even decides to saturate it, to be honest. Like, I'm half expecting this just to be for show. Avenger has the freedom, has the room to be a little bit cheeky like this, and we'll see as the third base is scouted by Loki at a standard time. There we go. 4 gates in production, 6 gates in total. I would be surprised if we don't see a War Prism being made here by Loki as well. Or at least some way to reinforce across the map. As oh my god, he throws out an additional 2 gates. 7. We have 9 gates in total. Oh my god, I've heard of 6 or even 8, but 9. There it is. There is the War Prism again. I'm pretty sure this third base is just for show. This is gonna be a very committed gateway attack. We have all the pylons to make sure we don't see a supply block either, and Avenger is just gonna be sending it across the map. And what do we have to defend? We don't have a Baneling Nest. We do have a Roach Warren, but no Roaches yet. Loki was being a little bit greedy, going for double Evo Chambers, but he didn't research an upgrade. I'm a little bit surprised. There we go. Okay, we have our upgrades on the way here, just waiting for some additional gas for 1-1. And Zealots are not ideal against Charge Lots. They can be in high enough numbers. Is 8 going to be high enough? That is the question. And where is the War Prism going to hit? Because there is a location here in the main base that doesn't have any vision. The War Prism is headed towards the main. Oh, God. Okay, the Roaches are popping out. Just barely in time. Loki still does not see the massive warp in. Zealots hitting the third base and the main base at the same time. All these things are getting absolutely shredded. They almost all go down. Now Zealots can get into the mineral line. Meanwhile, the Queens are a little bit too busy with this small force at the third, and that will mean that this lair is under threat. We're going to be seeing another massive warp in shortly. The lair, it's at the half HP. He's trying to target it down as best he can. Where is the other warp in? So we do have a couple of adepts head towards the third base. Oh god, the lair is going to go down. No, just a little bit more, and with the last transfuse, it looks like it may just barely survive. 30 HP. Yo, this warp-in is late. The War Prism needs to get out of here before it gets targeted down. Speaking of being targeted down, the Zealots a charge in. The lair does get picked off at the same time. The third base is going to go down as well. The Void Ray is going ham. The drones were evacuated towards the natural, but that's where the Zealots are. And oh my god, Loki's going to be forced down to 2 bases. He used all his transfuses earlier. He doesn't have enough energy to keep this alive. And mate, 1 Void Ray is all it takes as Loki loses 2 hatcheries in a row. A lair and a hatchery to be exacted. Now he is stuck on 1 base. And the Warpins just don't stop. More Zealots are being produced. We got an Immortal as well. He's probing up because why the hell not? And Loki's all in. He has to go for a counterattack. He has to go for a Queen push. Ooh, he picks up a Void Ray. That's pretty big. Yo, we gotta go. He does stay at home. He's trying to take down the War Prism. Yo, the War Prism is kind of left idle here. It's taking a lot of damage. Oh. A bit of a questionable rally there for the War Prism, but here we go. Loki, he's got to go across the map with everything, not just the Roaches. He needs to go with the Queens. He's going to try and take another expansion, but mate, you can't stay at home like this. You need to end it. Here we go. The Roaches are about to show up, but there are Void Rays, and Roaches don't shoot up. Like, oh god. Loki he goes home. Alright, we gotta take stock. So he did double expand, he's rebuilding his lair. He didn't lose too many drones. He only lost 13. That's not bad. It's not bad. It could have been worse. Loki isn't dead. Thankfully, like, he can try and recover from this position. It's just all of his tech is delayed because of the death of the lair. Like Roach Speed, Hydra, Spire, upgrades, anything. Like 2-2. It's all just so late. And Avenger can do whatever he wants. And it looks like what he wants to do is go charge the Archon with maybe even Colossus or Disruptors. Most likely Disruptors. Oh boy. Well, luckily, glad Reconstitution is already done here for Loki. He didn't have to remake that. It wasn't denied or anything like that. But I'm just trying to think where he can go from here. I wouldn't be opposed to getting like Burrow and like Tunneling Claws for like some mass Roach harass, just to try and get some damage done, and to keep his opponent at home. He needs time. He just needs time to tech up, and Avenger shouldn't be giving him that time. At the moment, he's just continuing to macro up. He's got a pretty nice army with those Archons and Chargeless and Void Rays. And when he moves out, I'm not convinced that Loki has what he needs to defend. Maybe he will. Especially because it looks like Avenger isn't going to move out, even though he does have the War Prism, so he has the freedom to reinforce and micro and even recall if he needs to. Alright, here we go. Wave 2 is coming. Now, a lot of this will come down to the Banelings. The Banelings and their connections on the Zealots, hoping to avoid the Archons. Avenger, he pokes in, he spots the army, and he's going to be looking to try and deny some of these bases. Oh, Stalker's being warped in. We don't have Blink. Stalkers are pretty good regardless. We do see one of the spores being picked off. Loki looking to try and go for a full surround. Baneling speed did finish up, and the Banelings are going to be connecting with all of the gateway units. Where were the Archons? The Archons were not where they needed to be. And just like that, Loki takes the... Oh no! The purification over, please! Okay, does turn around. Avenger, he's forced back home. He did keep all his high-tech units alive, the majority of his Void Rays, his Immortals. I was worried about him moving out without the Disruptors, and we saw what happened there. And yeah, Avenger, he just has to stay back home. I don't think Loki should try and force this, especially without Queens. Like, yeah, all the Banelings are forced to be cancelled. The Void Rays can just show up and just kill everything. Oh boy. As the Banelings are about to finish, up! They do back off. Avenger does scare Loki away. And he just needs to keep up this creep spread. He just needs this creep spread to reach the base as soon as possible. He needs to keep pumping out Queens if this is what he's going to rely on for anti-air. Meanwhile, Avenger's he's just chilling. He's just chillayin'. I wouldn't be opposed to him even throwing down a second Stargate into Fleet Beacon, to be honest, at this point. But we'll see when he gets there. We'll see. As Loki has maxed out, but the very important thing to point out here is that Loki's maxed out, but it's an inflated supply because of the roaches. Like, roaches are not the best use of supply at all. So yeah, he's maxed out, which may look good on paper, but it's, you know, a little bit deceiving. Oh my god! The Banelings! They turned around at the last moment. Oh my god. They were on a little bit of an A move there, and they turned around to fight the cannon instead of the probes. And that's a little bit scary because a lot of Banelings were just used on run-bys, and they're continuing to be used on run-bys, which means that we don't have Banelings to deal with the Zealots. We do have Banelings being morphed in at home, but they only just started. Like, the Zealots are going to deal a surprising amount of damage to these roaches. Oh my god, Avenger, he just dives straight in on top of everything. He just takes Biles to the face. The Bailey's gonna finish up in his face. Oh my god. And with that, Avenger is gonna lose everything. That was so unnecessary. GG. Loki ties it up 1-1. Yo, Avenger, he saw all those banelings. He's like, let's go. And he just move commanded right on top of them. I guess his goal was to kill the banelings before they morphed in. But, that was questionable, mate. He got himself surrounded. Yeah, we're tied up 1-1. GG. And we are going to that ace match. Which way will this go? What map are we going to land on? That's what I want to know. I'd be surprised if it wasn't 2,000 atmospheres. Like, would they really, like, veto 2,000 atmospheres? That'd be insane. Are you guys gonna be ready? Yo, shout out to Rocker in the chat. Representing License to Kill. Yes, the players are going to be playing in BTL. If you're listening, Rocker, the players are going to be competing in BTL. We will not be casting it live. We will be casting it from replays tomorrow. Because obviously we're committed to casting Battle of the Americas every single week. And unfortunately, our BTL match is scheduled over Battle of the Americas. So we won't be able to... Oh, let's quickly try and set things up. So we won't be able to cast BTL, but our players will be there for the match. They should be there for the match. Who do we have? Yes, Oreo is here, as well as the rest of the team. We still need to wake up Starduck. Yo, everyone. Funada Starduck on social media. He has to wake... Oh, he's awake! He's awake! All of our boys are awake. We're all ready for the Team League match. If you're wondering what I'm talking about, Berserker Team League is a North American based team league that we're competing in, the CranKy Ducklings. We're honestly doing pretty well, and today we are facing License to Kill. As we speak, they are about to start their series, but it's not going to be casted live. From us anyway, we're going to cast it from replays tomorrow because we're busy with Battle of the Americas. Oh boy. And here we go, spawning in the bottom right hand corner of Berlingrad. Oh my god, I didn't even notice. What kind of veto process was this? My god. We have the Mexican Protoss player. He is blue, representing Unidos por el Vicio. It is Avenger. Spawning in the top left hand corner, going for a 12 pool opening. We have the Chilean Zerg player. He is red. Also representing Unidos por el Vicio, it is Loki. Soy español, sí. I'm surprised. No sabía. I didn't know that you were Spanish, Calibre. Wow. That's interesting. Interesting that you're Hispanic, but you've got like your Southeast Asian team for the Juggernauts. Very interesting. I approve. We are very similar. Yo, Funada ARJ Skater in the chat, shaking my head. As the Lings are rushing across the map, thankfully Avenger did go for a probe scout. He confirmed that it was a pool first. He confirmed the timing of the hatchery, so he should be walling off at home as best as he can. The Lings are about to show up here, but the Zealot will come out just in time. And now the Lings are gonna have to try and target down something else. Oh, Zealot, please. Yo, he's being so ambitious with the Zealot. Oh, that is not a wall. Oh my god, there's a hole in the wall. Go for it, puppy. Go for it. There's a hole. Oh. Ay. GG, Avenger, please. The wall was not a wall. Oh my god. Ah. Ay. So this is something that players need to get used to fast, and that is how to wall on the new maps. If you're a Protoss player and if you're a Terran player, if you're out there, you need to get on top of this, because otherwise this happens where Lings they waddle across the map and the wall is not a wall and you're just dead. Yeah. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it when I saw it, mate. Oh, my heart feels bad, man. Feels bad.